From Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut, this is The Pulse.
Hello, my name is Alessandra Sotaro.
And I'm Tamark Wilson. Thanks for joining us. Before we begin, we have Emily Archacki with In the News.
As we take to the air today, this news just in. Pop superstar Prince, one of the most innovative musicians of his generation, was found dead at his home in suburban Minneapolis. Musicians, celebrities, and fans reacted with shock and anguish. Prince, dead at the age of 57. In political news, the New York State primaries were held this past Tuesday on April 19th. Democratic presidential frontrunner Hillary Clinton claimed victory over Bernie Sanders, capturing 139 delegates with 58% of the vote. Donald Trump won the Republican primary with 60% of the vote and earned a total of 89 delegates. Trump is now the only Republican candidate with any chance of clinching the nomination before the convention. The primaries make their way to the New England region, with the Connecticut state primaries being held on Tuesday, April 26th. In national news, there will be a new face coming soon to the $20 bill. Harriet Tubman will be replacing Andrew Jackson on the front of new bills to be unveiled in 2020. This will be the first time in the nation's history that an African American will be featured on currency. It will be the 5th time in history that American currency will feature a woman. The first and only time U.S. paper money featured a woman by herself was in 1886, showing the First Lady of the United States, Martha Washington.
Did you know that 1 in 5 children in the state of Connecticut go to bed hungry? In the city of Bridgeport alone, that number is even higher. One local organization helping to fight this statistic is the Feel the Warmth Soup Kitchen at United Congregational Church. Nicole Granito brings us more.
The winter months can be cold, but for some in the Bridgeport community, they are unbearable. Started in 1695, United Congregational Church has been able to be the light to those in need.
And we started by handing out hot chocolate on the steps in the middle of winter. And we have a big church porch, and columns, and it's very majestic. And here we are on the porch steps handing out cups of hot chocolate. And some of the neighbors were like, "What are you doing?" They were suspect because, a lot of times in this type of work, people expect people you're giving to give something back. And we were just giving because they were cold. But we call it Feel the Warmth because we want it to be more than just food. We want it to be friendship and hospitality and not us and them. So anybody that comes and helps, they sit down and eat with our neighbors. These are our neighbors. Come on in. Let's all sit down and have a meal. And I think our neighborhood is better for it.
Every week, Sacred Heart students help prepare meals made from fresh ingredients that have been generously donated by parishioners of the church. Students join Reverend Sarah doing more than just feeding the homeless, but rather impacting the Bridgeport community.
Last year, we had 8,700 people come through, and we gave them a plate of hot food. And we've really tried to go all healthy, like a protein, a good starch, a vegetable or two, a salad with a salad bar. They loved all the fixins, and then a piece of fruit, and a dessert, because you gotta have a little something sweet every once in a while. Make sure it's not totally bad. We pass drink carts around, and people get to have coffee or tea or milk.
From setting up dessert cups to a simple smile, every bit of help is always appreciated. For some people, volunteering has no boundaries.
We can't do this without volunteers, and people come from all over Fairfield County. Sometimes they come from Litchfield County. We have folks from Salisbury Congregational Church that come 3 or 4 or 5 times a year. We have about 2,000 volunteers from all over, and we especially we have students from Sacred Heart University. They're very faithful. They're here every week. We have Fairfield U sometimes, University of Bridgeport, Housatonic Community College. We love our college kids. But we also have build-on students from the high schools that are learning leadership through service.
Not only does this program have a strong effect on the less fortunate, but more importantly, the effect that it has on the volunteers.
You can't give a hungry person a plate of food and stay the same. That's the miracle of it. It helps us all be more human. It helps them get through the day, but it helps us be whole and more full too. It gives us warmth.
Reverend Sarah has been a strong advocate for the program for the past 4 years. She welcomes everyone with open arms after a long, hard day at work.
They're landscapers and painters. Some are not undocumented. We don't ask. I don't care. They're hungry. And they're here doing work that I probably wouldn't want to do for a lot less wage than I would want. So we welcome everyone, and we just say, come on in. But what the people that are working so hard, and I know they've got to get up and go back to work again the next day, that feels good to me too. And if we can lessen the homeless population, we will feed more people who are working.
Feel the Warmth has brought community members together no matter the race, gender, or ethnicity. It shares as a reminder that a small act of kindness can take away the pain and struggles of everyday life.
Because when you sit around a table and you gather to share a meal, it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, black or white, a student or elderly. It doesn't matter if you're Christian or Muslim. It matters that we find our best selves and we find our common humanity, and that is what will heal this world. So we're going to feed as many people around our table as we can and share that warmth, so our world will be a little bit better place tomorrow.
This is Nicole Granito reporting for The Pulse.
This semester, La Hispanidad Sacred Heart's Latin American Club helped raise awareness on the topic of social justice. For an entire week, the group partnered with students, faculty, and staff to educate on a variety of issues that affect college campuses. With more information, here is Christian Colon.
The university's Latin American club La Hispanidad took on Social Justice Week. For 5 days, students, faculty, and school officials united with the club to help bring an end to racial, gender, and many other social justice issues that have been affecting college campuses. The week started off by having people write on a leaf their interpretation of social justice. The tree bloomed with people sharing their voice to find an end to inequality. The main event of the week was their annual Latin American Night, a night filled with food, activities, and a special performance from an Afro-Brazilian martial arts group called Copira. To find out how you can take part, visit their social media pages by searching SHU La Hispanidad on Facebook and Instagram. This is Christian Colon reporting for The Pulse.
You know, Tamara, I actually had the opportunity to stop by the event, and I saw the great food and dancing, and I actually saw Christian dancing with, Father Bruce, and it was great.
Oh, really? Christian got moves, huh?
It
That's
was a
great.
good time.
I'm glad to see there was a fun event for a great cause.
Coming up after the break, we'll take a look at the miraculous story of one heart transplant survivor. Stay tuned.
I started at Sacred Heart University in 1999.
It's been incredible to see the changes we've gone through.
Clearly we were on a growth path for many years, and I think all the signs were leading towards us becoming a school.
Being a school of communications allows us a lot of flexibility.
It makes us more competitive with other schools.
It's like we really arrived, and I think we got here because of the great students who came before and kind of brought us to this point.
Becoming a school really acknowledges all the amazing work that our students, our staff, and faculty do.
Students get involved immediately here. You don't have to wait until you're a junior. You could come in as a freshman and get involved. We have organizations and clubs.
It's very much about the future. So it really is about what we can do moving forward. That this is going to set us up so that our graduate programs are going to be able to grow and improve, that our undergraduate programs are going to grow and build.
All that's going to help us do what we've been doing all along even better.
Welcome back. April is National Donate Life Month. Currently, over 120,000 people are in need of a life-saving organ transplant. Joe Massaro brings us the story of his mother, Lisa, a heart transplant survivor, and her life today 17 years after the operation.
Lisa Massaro, a mother, role model, and heart transplant survivor. This is her story 17 years later.
After the doctors told me that I had an enlarged heart and that I would possibly need a transplant in the near future, I was very upset and scared that I would die before I even would get the transplant. I had 2 small children, and they told me that if your heart doesn't go back to normal size within 6 months to a year, you'll definitely need the transplant. They put me on a bunch of heart medication, and I had an internal defibrillator put in me because my heart used to go into VTAC all the time with bad arrhythmias that were life-threatening. So I was just nervous and afraid, and it wound up being 4.5 years from the day they told me my heart was enlarged and put me on medications that it lasted. And then exactly 4.5 years later, I went back downhill, and I needed to go on the list at that time to get the transplant, and I only waited 21 days to get it because I have AB positive blood and it's universal. So I was actually very lucky because at the end there, I was very sick in a quick amount of time. The doctor came in that day and said, "You're gonna need the transplant, like now." And I was like, "Can I just go home with a beeper and wait for it?" Because back then everybody had beepers, and this was 17 years ago. And he said, "No, you're too sick to go home. You have to wait here for the heart." I didn't realize I was that sick. I didn't realize I was dying. They had me on all different kinds of medication where I kind of felt okay, but that medicine wasn't going to last forever, the doctor said, and I needed the heart. I just was basically sitting there waiting every day to see if there was going to be a heart for me. But I was getting sicker and sicker, just sitting there, weaker. And then I got pneumonia from just sitting in the bed all the time. And I had high fevers, and my organs were starting to fail, and my mom told me I was looking yellow. While I was in the hospital waiting for the transplant, Life magazine was there doing a story on people from Mount Sinai and Columbia Presbyterian that were waiting for heart transplants, and they asked me if I wanted to be involved with it, and I was like, sure. So they did an article about everybody that was sitting around waiting for these hearts, and took pictures, and we didn't know until the end who was really going to be in the magazine or who was even going to get chosen for it. And I wound up being in the article and being on the cover of Life magazine. Right here. This is a picture of me the day after I woke up from my surgery. Of me and my transplant cardiologist, Dr. Gass, and this is after my transplant. He was just coming in my room to listen to my new heart and see how I was doing. This is actually a picture of my heart in a cooler, like you'd bring to the beach, coming to the hospital. And this is a picture of me on July 4th, which was about a week after my transplants, with my kids. This is Joe and this is Nikki. Nikki was 4.5, Joe was 6.5 in this picture. And you see they're in like scrubs and a gown, and I had a mask on because when you get a transplant you have a low immune system, so your body doesn't reject the heart. They give you anti-rejection medication, and I could get sick from other people, so I had to be careful. Very sterile situation in the beginning. So this is a picture of my heart donor. His name was Daniel, and he was 18 years old when he died. It was the night before his high school graduation. He got into a car accident literally around the block from his house. It's very sad. And this is a picture of me with my chest opened up, and that is Daniel's heart as they're gonna put it inside of me. 8 years after my heart transplant, I was asked by Ladies Home Journal to do an article on my twin girls that I had 6 years after my transplant. I was the first woman in the United States to have twins after a heart transplant. So they wanted to do an article about the girls on their first birthday and about my donor family. that I had met a year before that, and they came down for the girl's first birthday. Okay, this is Diane and Paul, my heart donor's parents. And this is a picture of Samantha, one of the twins. A couple days after she was born, she had this hemangioma on her neck. Out of nowhere, it appeared when she was a couple days old, and it was like a strawberry mark, and it's actually shaped in like a heart, which is a little odd because her name is Samantha Danielle, and I did the middle name after Daniel, my heart donor. And she has this on her, and she's gonna be 10 in June. She still has it. It's much smaller, and it turned like white. The birthmark on the back of her neck is definitely like a sign my donor family feels from their son that he like lives on, because her middle name was Danielle, and his name was Daniel. Still keep in contact with them. They have 3 other children, and their daughter, Sarah, who is 26 now. I talk to her every month. We text back and forth, and she's visited me twice. I actually am gonna go up to Buffalo this summer to see the whole family. We always felt like they were a family right away when we met them. I try to do whatever my kids need and be happy, because life's too short and you don't know what's gonna happen. Especially after that experience I went through. I don't know how long there's no time how long someone can live with a transplant for a heart. And it's already been 17 years, which I think is a long time in the heart transplant world, so I feel blessed and lucky to still be here.
This is Joe Massaro, reporting for The Pulse.
We'll be right back.
My name is Dario Melendez. I graduated in 2008, and I'm currently the sports anchor reporter at New York One.
D win, division title, winning season comes down to just one game. It really all depends on the position we're talking about. With a logjam in the AFC for those wild card spots, it's pretty close to being a must-win. 6-time Pro Bowler and NFL analyst Eric Allen joining us again in studio. And Eric, let's take a listen to what Giants head coach Tom Coughlin had to say after yet another devastating loss, this time to the Chiefs.
There's no such thing as an average day in the sports world. If there was an average day, it's pretty much showing up about an hour to an hour and a half before whatever game I'm covering, whether it's an afternoon game or a night game, and then just watching the game, taking notes, talking to players afterwards, and trying to present the story of the game from the players' mouths. It's not really a job. It's watching sports for a living, which is probably the coolest thing in the world. I love sports. I love watching sports. I love talking about it, dissecting it. The fact that I get to go to these arenas and these stadiums and these fun events, and that's my job, makes it even better. When you're a college student, you have a lot of responsibility, especially if you're a student athlete. You have practice every day. You have lifting every day. You have to be on time, and then on top of that, you have to get to class. The professors were very hands-on with me. They really took whatever idea and want that I wanted and helped me make it a reality. And then on top of that, me playing football already gave me the avenue for sports. And the one thing that our professors, especially in the media studies department, did was they didn't hold you accountable, but they took notes on you. If you didn't want to do something, that was fine, but that was on you. I always wanted to do something, and I think that kind of pushed them to want to push me a little bit more, which in turn helped me. So responsibility was the biggest thing I took from here, and that's been huge, because in any business, in any facet of life, you have to be responsible, or else you really don't have anything. The best advice I would give to an incoming student, really into any business, but especially media, is never say no, because the moment you say no, someone else will say yes. It doesn't matter how little they want to pay you, it doesn't matter what they want you to do, you always have to say yes and then work your way up until you get to the position you want to be in. This is professional. I mean, there are markets in this country that don't have a studio like this. There are newsrooms that are years away from having anything like this. So this is really a game changer for Sacred Heart and the Fairfield community, because it's professional. And when you sit on this desk and you present what you shot on this desk to a potential employer, you're already far beyond anybody else that's coming to also apply for that job. You've set yourself apart. And that's exactly what a college is supposed to do, is you're supposed to set yourself apart, and that's what this studio, this program, these professors, this university has done. They've invested into a very specific program, an up-and-coming program, and the dividends it's going to pay out is just going to be amazing.
Welcome back to The Pulse. All Sacred Heart Greek organizations raise funds for a specific charity. Fraternity Iota Phi Theta, which I'm a member of, recently hosted their first annual No Matter the Letter dance and stepping event. Funds were raised to support St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital.
On April 1st, 2016, Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated hosted their first annual charity showcase, No Matter the Letter. This event features multiple Greek organizations as well as step and dance teams. All of the proceeds earned were donated to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, which is Iota Phi Theta's national philanthropy.
So is everyone ready for the show to get started? Yes!
What we have going on here is a step show, dance show where we have multiple organizations from multiple schools that are coming basically to showcase their talent. We have a lot of Greek organizations. Us, Iota, we're coming out, we're going to step, we're going to perform. And again, it's basically just a fun event that we're having to raise money in a great and a positive way. It gets Sacred Heart community involved, it gets our name out there, and it gets other orgs and other schools and whoever's participating out there. And it should be fun.
The Brothers of the Theta Sigma chapter at Sacred Heart University welcomed many performers to the SHU community, including organizations holding membership in the National Pan-Hellenic Council, Latin Multicultural Council, as well as dance and step teams from other universities, showcasing talent for the love of charity. Each year, Iota Phi Theta unites together as an international brotherhood in hopes to achieve their national goal of $555,555 in donations to St. Jude's. Iota Phi Theta is recorded as the 5th largest social service organization in the country. Although charity was a big reason for having this showcase, many students enjoyed another aspect of the event.
Diversity. That was the biggest thing for me. It was really cool to kind of see like each sorority and fraternity, like how each one works and like how each one had like a similar background, but they also had like something different and unique about it. It was cool.
What makes it different is it brings a lot of different cultures into Sacred Heart, which I like, and it gets the message of diversity out here.
One of the other reasons why the fraternity decided to have this event was to introduce other clubs and organizations to the SHU community that aren't already on campus.
It's strictly like we try to involve a lot of schools outside of Sacred Heart, you know, because a lot of people are also interested in Greek life and they may not be interested in here, or maybe they're interested in a team that's not you know, here at Sacred Heart University, and it's great for exposure for them. It's great to link up. It's great to network with people, you know, who are not here on campus, and I think that would be great.
Through this event, over $700 were raised to aid in cancer research. It also brought together over 10 different clubs and Greek organizations from schools such as University of Bridgeport, University of New Haven, and Fairfield University to perform at Sacred Heart University. The members of the fraternity hope that this event will grow and help raise even more money for the hospital next year. But they are not the only ones looking forward to more events such as this one.
I look forward to doing this event in the future.
This is Tamarik Wilson reporting for The Pulse.
Last time on The Pulse, we saw Sacred Heart University's dance team preparing to compete at Nationals in Daytona Beach, Florida. As a member of the team, I had the opportunity to travel and document their journey. Let's take a look. Last weekend, Sacred Heart's dance team competed in Daytona Beach, Florida to showcase their team performance in hip-hop style dances with confidence in making it to the final stage. The day before prelims, the team spent as much time as they could practicing their routines in hotel banquet rooms.
We really wanted to do this routine as our way to give back to people who are going through a fight. We all dedicated this dance to someone special to us who's going through something. And it's really just about helping each other through a tough situation and being there for one another.
Prelims is every team and division competes, and based on your score, if you are, let's say there's 10 teams, they'll take 5 teams to finals, and then the 5 teams that didn't go to finals compete in Challenge Cup, which is you get a second chance to dance, and whoever scores the highest score in that will go to finals as well.
During the preliminary competition, the dance team unfortunately did not score high enough to make it to finals right away. However, they were able to dance in the Challenge Cup for the opportunity to place last in finals the next morning.
We're super focused. We tune the rest of the world out, have our headphones in, listening to the music. Super nervous, but also really excited.
With the support of family and friends, the team not only made it to the band shell for team performance, but for the first time in dance team history, the team also placed for finals in hip-hop. The team overcame every obstacle along the way and brought home not one, but 2 fifth-place national titles. This is Alessandra Sotaro reporting for The Pulse.
Wow, they placed top 5 in 2 categories?
Yeah, it was the first time we did this in dance team history, so it was great that I could be there to witness it. I'm so proud of the girls. It was a good time.
Wow, that's great. But I was stuck in Connecticut, so I have to know, how was the weather?
It was beautiful. It was very warm, but unfortunately, because we placed so high and we were dancing most of the time, there wasn't a lot of downtime to enjoy the weather, but it's all right.
Well, sometimes you got to give up something to get something.
That's all the news for now. I'm Alessandra Sotaro.
And I'm Tamar Wilson. We'll see you next time on The Pulse.